Hey guys, this is Jeff from Adirondack Woodsman. So today I'm going to go over two different types of pruners. The Dewalt 20 volt, 1.5 inch max capacity bypass pruner, and the 18 volt, 8 inch chainsaw. It's got like a mini chainsaw pruner by Milwaukee. And I'm going to go through and kind of compare what I like about each model. Okay, so let's start with the Dewalt 20 volt pruner. It does not come with a battery. The model that I got ended up coming with just the bare tool, which is fine. I already had some batteries. So this is like a bypass pruner. One thing I like off the bat is they gave you this real rigid piece of plastic that can go back on when you're done pruning, so it protects wherever you're storing it from getting cut up from the pruner itself. So one of the things, I've gone out and tried this out already, and I'll give you an example a little bit later on. But one of the things that I do like about it is it's pretty simple to use. I'm going to put a battery on here. Basically, there's a little switch here, safety switch you got to depress before, and then you need to pull that in order to be able to pull the trigger up here. There is a timeout period, so after you've used it for, if you've got just this little piece depressed for too long and you're not actually using it, then it will turn off automatically, and then you got to release and start over again. So basically all you have to do is you depress the safety trigger and then just pull the other trigger. And it's a pretty fast movement. So what I like about this is if I am pruning, like if you take down a tree and there are, let's say it's a maple tree, and at the top there's all kinds of branches going every which way. Actually, beech is famous for that, right? Lots of long, skinny branches. A chainsaw or chainsaw pruner isn't going to work as good to shorten up those branches. So I use this up at my camp. I had a tree that came down. It wasn't a big tree, it was a maple tree, but there were a lot of small branches, and very quickly you can go through and make one cut after another cut, and it's really simple. I'd say it goes up, it says 1.5 inches, but realistically I think it's about 1 inch, I would say would be the limit. But that's okay. So even if I take a big, let's say I take down a big hemlock, usually when you're cutting those branches off, even if you've got a chainsaw or a chainsaw pruner to cut branches that are 3 inches, 2 inches, usually they're overhanging over your head. And this will be nice to be able to just go up and snip those prior to taking off the bigger limb. To keep the thing from falling on your head when you're cutting it off. So I really do like this. Initially I was thinking I needed just one, but inevitably I ended up getting both, and I think they both serve a different purpose, and I'm really gonna appreciate that. So one thing I do like about this is the blade, the cutting blade. This is kind of more of a fixed blade, and then this is the cutting blade that moves. It's actually replaceable. So if you have it go bad or gets dull, you can actually take it off, either have it sharpened or replace it completely. So that's one thing that I like about it. It ran about $129 at Home Depot. I don't know if they're going to have special pricing later this summer. I always keep an eye out, and if it goes down, I go back and kind of get the difference. But I think that was a pretty good price for that pruner. It works really, really well. So next, we're gonna look at the Milwaukee. They have a 6 inch and an 8 inch. They're only a $10 difference. And for me, I'm like, the extra couple inches will probably make a difference on some of the larger pieces I may want to cut. So why would I do this instead of a regular chainsaw? The reason I think that this has some advantages is usually with a larger chainsaw, you've got a blade sticking out a lot further. It's a much heavier unit. And I was looking for something lightweight where I could where I could, just want to make sure my sound's on. I was looking for something a little more lightweight that I could use to basically just get in at the angles, you know, very quickly and turn it. And once again, this is probably going to be used on anything larger than, let's say, larger than an inch. If you ever try to use a chainsaw on anything smaller than an inch, the thing just kind of flips in the wind while you're trying to cut it, and it's just, you know, not real easy to do. So Milwaukee gives you, once again, a bare tool. It has this really nice scabbard on the top, and it fits really nicely when you lock it in. It isn't going to slide off while you, if you got it in the car or something like that. So I did use it. There's a little bit of a few chips here. The oil reservoir, I don't know how much it's going to leak like a regular chainsaw does. Hopefully not too bad. But the oil reservoir, I don't know if it's going to be big enough. I put in some oil when I used it this weekend, but boy, it didn't seem to really, it seemed to use it up pretty quickly. I didn't fill it all the way up, but I filled it up probably 75%. So it's something that you want to keep track of if you're out there using it, because the batteries are going to last a lot longer than the oil. I don't know if, I haven't checked to see if there's an adjustment. I don't believe there is for giving it more oil, less oil, like you would on a large chainsaw, depending on the size bar you have. I think, you know, in the end, I think that it'll, I think the amount of oil it gives you is going to be kind of consistent. I have not bought an extra chain yet. I got a steel sharpener for this particular size chain, and we'll start with that. And you know, if I need to pick another chain, they're about $24. This unit ran about $279. Like I said, the 6-inch was $269. Bare tool, but once again, I had the batteries, so I think I'm good. So when I first looked at these, I wasn't quite sure how you were supposed to hold them. When I was in the store talking to a Milwaukee rep, basically you want to put one hand down here by the trigger, one hand up here, and then once again, this is your depressing switch to allow you to press the trigger. And I don't know if there's a way to lock that on. There may not be. See if the other side does it. No. So you do have to have the trigger depressed or the safety pulled down. The nice thing is the safety's on both sides, so if you want to do it right-handed or left-handed, you've got access to that trigger. It is, once again, throw a battery in here real quick. For the little bit that I did, it didn't use up much battery at all. Sometimes these Milwaukee batteries go in hard. So basically, I depress the safety and press the trigger. It's pretty easy to use. I will, once again, I will give you an example of how to run this thing. By the way, I'd recommend, unlike what I just did, taking the battery out prior to putting it in the scabbard. That way, if you accidentally depress the trigger, you'd have to do the safety switch as well, obviously. You're not going to have it turn on while you got the scabbard on, which wouldn't be a good thing. They do give you a nice little tool in here. It's very hard to get out. The first time I tried to get it out, it really stuck, because you can't really, I don't know. When I go to get it out, there we go. I had a little screwdriver the last time, so when it's cold, it might be a pain to get this thing out. But the only time you're really going to need that is if you're tightening up the chain, which I'll probably need to do initially, but then I don't know how much after that. So I guess the only other thing I would say was initially I just bought this one, and I thought that would be the answer, but I really liked the Dewalt one as well, how quickly it used, and I went out and bought this one after I bought the Milwaukee Pruner, and I've used that quite a bit already. I had some, beech has a tendency when you go to cut it, it will shoot little shoots up from the stump and the roots. And so I went out back and I was even able to prune those down really low to the ground, where I had some of those areas in the back that were a nuisance to do with just a chainsaw. Okay guys, today's a pretty windy day out here today, so hopefully you guys can hear everything. I'm going to put these, give you an example of how to put these two new pruners to the test so you can see how they actually work. I'm not going to do a whole lot. Like I said, it's real windy out here today, but we'll show you how they work. I'm going to jump on this side of the tree. This is actually a dead piece here, so we're going to get this out of here. I'll probably end up cutting it anyways. But this is probably, I don't know, maybe 3-4 inches wide, but I'll show how this works on this piece of wood. And then I'll get the pruners for the smaller pieces, the other pruners, the Dewalt ones, and show you how that works as well. So unfortunately, I don't have my safety glasses and I'm not walking back to the house. Probably not a wise thing, but so you can see that made pretty quick work of that limb here, and I'm trying to just leave this one stalk here, so I'm going to get these off as well. This one I'll probably try with the other pruners. We'll see how it goes. Fortunately, I didn't take my camera out. Okay, so I'm going to set these down and pick this one up, and you should get an idea how this works. It snaps right through them. This one I'm going to be a little bit low, so we'll see how it works. This one's probably at the limit here. It's like 1.5 inches there, so I would say it's probably not going to do beech 1.5 inches very easily. That one it did fine. That's probably about 1 inch. Okay, got that one completely done. Okay, so you're gonna actually see how I make quick work of these branches now. A lot of times they get so long that you can't even carry them real easily. So the nice part here, I can just go ahead and trim these up. And normally I would have my I've got a wood chipper, and I would have that here, but that's up at camp right now, so. It's nice because you only need one hand to be able to use it too, whereas a pole pruner you need 2 of them, so. So something like this, I'll probably cut something like this with my, with the actual Milwaukee. Okay, so hopefully that gives you an idea how you can make quick work with all this stuff. This stuff's kind of small to work with as far as bucking it up. I don't know if bucking's the right word with something so small, but I really like the idea, like I said, of being able to take this, be able to do work up at my camp, and not having to carry on a big chainsaw to be able to do all that limbing. So I expect that I'll be able to drop a log and then go up and use this to do all the limbing. And where I got branches hanging down, like big hemlock branches, I'll be able to trim that up with this one first and then get it where it connects into the base. So guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, go ahead and give me a thumbs up and hit subscribe. Looking to add some subscribers. So if you can help me out with that, that would be wonderful. Other than that, I hope you guys have a great day and happy pruning.